Every soul is Gurudāsar.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Gurudasa once came to a place called Tirumiyachur during his Kshetropasana. The Devi in that Kshetram is called Lalitambika and the Lord is known as Meghanathan. It is one of the Shakti Pitas. This is the place where the Vashinyadi Devatas were instructed by Amba to compose Lalita Sahasranamam. Gurudasa was giving a detailed explanation of all the namas in the Lalita Sahasranamam. In that, he touched on the subject of Agastya Muni. Once, sage Narada asked Agastya Muni as to what made him so happy. Agastya Muni replied that he was experiencing Paramanandam whenever he did Upasana of Lalita Sahasranamam. Narada Muni asked Agastya to go home and see the Ananda in which his wife Lopamudra is drowned. Agastya said, Lopamudra does not have Akshara Jnanam or Vidya. How can she experience that bliss? Anyhow, he decided to go and find out for himself. Usually, he will do Loka Sancharam the whole day and only at night he will go home. But on that day, he entered the house at an unusual time. He saw Lopamudra seated on the swing as Sarvalankara Bhushita and Tambula Purita Mukhi. She was totally lost in the Paramananda Lahari of the Paratattvam, the Sri Vidya Tattvam. Agastya Muni also noticed the extraordinary lavanyam and tejas on her face in that Aikya Bhavam. He ran back to sage Narada, seeking his guidance to reach the same state as Lopamudra. Sage Narada advised him to approach his guru, who alone can provide him Margadarshanam. Agastya Muni did Upasana of Hayagriva, and when Hayagriva appeared before him, he said, Though you have taught me everything that I need to know, I feel that there is something more which has to be learned. And I request you to impart that knowledge to me. My mind is not contented. Kindly teach me all that I need to know. Saying that, he prostrated at the feet of Hayagriva and held his feet tightly and not letting it go. Hayagriva meditated on Lalita Parameshwari. Both Kameshwara and Kameshwari gave him darshanam and also the upadesham of Sarvapurtikari Lalita Trishati. The same time, the upadesha was transmitted to Agastya Muni, who held his guru Hayagriva's charanas tightly. The sparshanam of the padam enabled him to get the upadesha directly. It has 20 namavalis for each of the aksharas of Panchadashakshari mantra. They are all in the form of mantras, though they are namavalis. Some of them are Shakti Bijas, some Shivaksharas, and the Hreem, which comes at the end of all three kutas, stand for both Shiva and Shakti. That day, the Upanyasam was attended by a few people from the neighboring village. In that group, some village panchayat members were also there. After the Upanyasam was over, they approached Sri Gurudasa and started describing the strange behavior of a small girl in that village. The girl will gather all the other children from the village to climb a mountain, to enter into a forest, or go to the riverbed to play. The parents of other children were worried about her influence on their own children, and so they tried to stop them from playing with her. But the children did not want to leave her company. Sri Gurudasa asked then whether they have brought the child with them. They pointed in the direction where the girl was sitting. Sri Gurudasa wanted to meet the child alone and so requested others not to accompany him. The child was sitting on a raised platform in front of Lalitamba Sannidhi. Gurudasa felt some amanushya energy coming from her when he approached her. She was sitting with one leg folded and the other hanging down. She was wearing a long skirt and a blouse. Her mother, since she was going to the temple, had decked her in all possible ways. She was wearing payal in her feet. She had an odyanam on her hip, vanki in her upper arm, manimala and lot of bangles in her hand. Her hand was colored with mardani, mehendi. She was wearing earrings with jhumkas. We call it jimki, and a nose ring. Her hair was braided with Surya Chandra Prabha, Neti Chutti, etc. Her eyes were beautiful like a bee, and her mother had applied kanmai in her eyes. It is called collyrium in English. Her face was full of tejas. Her pavadai, the long skirt which she was wearing, had lot of animal images like elephant, hamsam, horse, etc. woven in it. The child was engrossed in playing with the images in her skirt. Sri Gurudasa felt that she was playing with real animals and not their images. He realized that the child is an extraordinary one with Purna Anugraha of Devi and Guru and had good samskaram. He felt that Bala Tripura Sundari herself is sitting in front of him as a child. The child also did not look at Gurudasa as a stranger and talked to him nicely. She asked him, "You must have been sent by those people to test me, is it not?" Gurudasa literally cried, listening to the words, and told her, "Who am I to test you? I understand who you are. And by just looking at you, I have not come here to test you." The child said, "Those people have done all kinds of prayogas on me because I am not behaving like other children. Some tied dayat, talisman, or ropes with mantra incantations, mantrika treatment, etc. They are convinced that I was born to do some harm to the village. When I go back, if I don't behave myself, they have even planned to eliminate me. Gurudasa was extremely perturbed to hear what the child said. In Anmikam or spirituality, there is no gender discrimination, but the challenges they face in their path of spiritualism are different. For example, Buddha could leave the palace, his family, the instant he got Atma Bodham. But is it possible for a girl or a woman to walk out just like that? When Sadashiva Brahmendra heard the mantra Sulagna Savadhan, he took it to be a warning and he ran away from the wedding ceremony. In the case of Purandaradasa, as long as he was behind wealth, his wife had to safeguard his wealth. But as soon as the transformation took place in the life of Purandaradasa, she also left everything and followed his footsteps. We have so many examples in the Indian cultural history about so many women who have been initiated in the spiritual path at a very tender age. They had to face lot of challenges due to social stigma. The earliest example is that of Parvati, who was initiated in the path of Shiva Upasana at a very young age by sage Narada. But to get Shiva as her husband, she had to do tapas as Aparna. Let us take the example of Sita Devi. Rama tried to convince Sita to stay back in Ayodhya when he was sent for 14 years of Vanvasam. But Sita said that she was well prepared for it. Rama was curious to know how she became aware of it. Sita narrated the incident that happened in Mithilapuri. No horoscope was made for her since she was found on Mother Earth. A Kuravanji, a fortune teller, came to the palace and the wife of Janaka Maharaja wanted to know the future of Janaki. That Kuravanji told her that Janaki will marry a great Chakravarti. Janaka Maharaja's wife was so happy, she ran inside to bring Bahumanam for the fortune teller. The second part of the prediction was heard only by Sita. That Kuravanji told her that even though you will be marrying a Chakravarti, only Vanavasam is your destiny. After marrying Rama, she was in Vanavasam. After staying together in Panchavati for a short while, she spent 10 months in Ashokavanam. After Rama's Pattabhishekam also, she had to go to Valmiki's Tapovanam. What can we say about Bhakta Meera? As a kid, when she asked her mother, what is marriage? She gave Meera a murti of Krishna and asked her to think of him as her husband. That idol stayed in the Manomandiram of Meera. Even though she got married, her mind was always on Krishna. The same was the story of Andal. Vishnu Chittar involved her in Anmikam from childhood days. For her to become one of the Alvas. Venkamma still has an ashramam and sannidhi at Tirupati. She had jnanam from her very young years. Though she was well aware that her husband's life is short, she married him because she wanted to lead a life of penance. Take the life of Avvaiyar. She was endowed with extraordinary beauty. She was so scared that she might be given in marriage and pushed into samsara bandham. She pleaded for vruddhapyam. Yelavanakatti Giriyamma was one of the lady dasas. She used to work in the fields. With the blessings of Sri Ranganatha, she had composed more than 3 lakh songs. Prahlada's mother, Kayadu, got Narayana Mantropadesha from sage Narada when she was pregnant. That Upadesha was received by the kid inside the womb also. Kayadu also was an Anmikavadi. Koluru Kodagusu was another Anmikavadi from Karnataka. Her father was a Shivachar who will bring as prasadam what was offered as Naivedyam to God. One day, Shivachar was not well and he asked his daughter to go to the temple to offer Naivedyam to God. The girl went to the temple, called out to God to have Naivedyam, and God also came and ate all the Naivedyam. When she went home empty-handed, her father asked her for prasadam. The girl told him that God came and ate everything. He refused to believe what the child said. The next day, he came with the kid and Naivedyam and asked the child to call out to God. That day, God did not come. The child cried her heart out and went to bang her head on the Shivalingam. The Shivalinga broke and Shiva took the child with him. The father tried to stop the child from being taken in, but he got only her braid in his hand. Even today, we can see the jata in front of the Shivalingam in Koluru. Akka Mahadevi was a follower of Basavanna and she had composed lot of vachanas. She was a Nirvana Sannyasini. She covered her body only with her long hair. She was there in the Anubhava Mantamam of Basavanna as part of the Upanyasam because she was an enlightened soul. Coming back to our story, Gurudasa decided that it was his dharma to get the needed respect and sthanam for that child in her village. He asked the Sishyas to buy some vettala, fruits, flowers, etc. He asked for haldi and kumkum and a vastra of Devi from the Archaka in the temple. He took all these upacharas and went to the kid. He applied haldi and kumkum for her and adorned her with the vastram of Devi and did sashtang namaskaram to the child, saying that this namaskara is for that Devi whom he saw within her. The child had done lot of sadhana in her previous births, and in this life some guru had given her upadesham at a very early age. Since she was a girl child and exhibited extraordinary talents, others could not accept or digest it. Gurudasa asked the child to stay where she was and went back to the villagers. The villagers saw all the upacharas that Gurudasa was offering to the child and started questioning him. Gurudasa had to walk on a tightrope. If he announced the truth about the child and her extraordinary powers, the villagers might misuse her. Nor are they capable of understanding the bare truth. They will not accept the child as ordinary child since they had experienced her powers in several instances. So he told the villagers that the child had been sent by Devi to that village. If they give due respect to her and treat her properly, then the whole village will prosper. If not, they will have to suffer. He proposed a test to the villagers. You take this child back carefully. Soon, you will confront a problem which will affect the whole village. At that time, you ask this child to find a solution for that. If the problem is solved by her, then you should trust this child fully and not subject her to any ill treatment or doubt. The villagers promised to obey his condition. After reaching the village, suddenly signs of unseasonable heavy rains appeared in the sky. The villagers were really worried it will destroy their crops and the whole effort put all through the year will be a waste. Their very survival might become difficult. They remembered what Sri Gurudasa told them and turned their attention to the child and prayed to her to save them from the Ghorandhakaram and the impending heavy rain. The child immediately ran to the top of a hillock nearby and sat in dhyanam. As she meditated, the clouds dissipated slowly. Witnessing the scene, the villagers realized their mistake and accepted the child as she was with her spiritual powers. The song Panchadashakshara Mantra Viharini in MAyamalavagowla RΑGAM poured out from Gurudasa when he saw the child as Bala Tripura Sundari Swarupam and Panchadashakshari Swarupam. Panchadashakshara Mantra Viharini Panchadashi Nitya Shodashi Pahi Panchadashakshara Mantra Viharini Panchadashi Nitya Shodashi Pahi Panchakshara Shiva Mana Prerana Kari Panchakshara Shiva Mana Prerana Kari Panchanana Vahini Paramadaya Kari Panchakshara Shiva Mana Prerana Kari Panchanana Vahini Paramadaya Kari Panchadashakshara Mantra Viharini Panchadashi Nitya Shodashi Pahi. Panchama Veda Samagananandini Panchopachara Puja Vinodini Panchama Veda Samagananandini Panchopachara Puja Vinodini Panchami Kanchuka Bharana Ragi पंचबाणात्मिके गुरुदास पालिनी पंचमी कंचुकाभरण रागी पंचबाणात्मिके गुरुदास पालिनी पंचदशाक्षर मंत्र विहारिणी पंचदशी नित्य षोडशी पाहि. Let us now look into the meanings of the words in the song. The special feature of this song is that all the words start with Pancha. Panchadashakshara mantra viharini. In Lalita Sahasranamam, we have Moola Kootatraya Kalebara and Moola Mantratmika. In both these Namavalis, the word Moola refers to Kamakala. It is said that Kamakalakshara Sukshmatara Swarupam is described in them. Kalpasutram says, Binduna Mukham Bindudvayo Kuchau Saparardhau Yonim Kritva Kamakalam iti Dhyatva. In Saundaryalahari, Acharya says, Mukham Bindum Kritva Kuchayugam Adhastasya Dadadho Harardham Dhyayedyo Haramahishi Te Manmatakalam. The Panchadashakshari Mahamantra has 3 parts, namely Vagbhavakutam, Kamarajakutam and Shaktikutam. At the end of all the 3 kutas, the Bijakshara Hrim appears. This mantra is the Stula Rupam of Devi. Her Mukham is Vagbhavakutam. From neck to the hip, it is Kamarajakutam. From hip to the Padam is the Shaktikutam. All these details are contained in the 3 Namavalis, Srimad Vagbhavakutaika Swarupa Mukha Pankaja, Kantadha Katiparyanta Madhyakuta Swarupini, Shakti Kutaikatapanna Katyadho Bhagadharini, and each one of these kutas contain Gayatri Mantram. Panchadashi. She is the representation of the Advaita Vedantam. It has 3 parts, and the first one is called Viveka Panchakam, that is, dealing with the discrimination of the real from the non-real, to understand that Brahmam Satyam Jagan Mithya. The second part is called Deepa Panchakam, which expounds the nature of the self as pure consciousness. It explains the process of the ascent of Jiva to its supreme goal, liberation from Maya to unite with Brahman. The third part is Ananda Panchakam, which talks of dissolution into eternal pleasure. This Atman, Brahman, is the source of ultimate happiness, the purpose of human life. To put it briefly, the direct means to liberation is the path of knowledge, jnanam, and as moksha is the very nature of the self, it is not an experience which is to be brought about through karma. The next word is Nitya Shodashi. She is ever young, always 16 years of age. Panchakshara Shiva Manah Preranakari. Shiva Tattvam is contained in Panchaksharam. What Shiva wills, she executes. Lalita Trishati says, Ishvara Preranakari. She motivates and stimulates Ishvara to perform his duties of creation, etc., and as his wife sees that Ishvara's orders are carried out. Panchanana Vahini. The word Pancha not only means 5 but also broad. She has that animal as her Vahana which has a broad face, that is, she is Simha Vahini. The word Panchapatram also gets its meaning because it has a wide mouth. Parama Dayakari, she has extreme compassion towards the entire Characharam because she is Avyaja Karunamurti. Panchama Veda Samagana Nandini. The word Panchama Veda has several connotations, but here, since the reference to Samaganam comes immediately after that, we can interpret that Panchama Veda refers to Gandharva Vedam, which is an Upaveda of Samavedam. The Natya Shastra says that it was formulated by Brahma, incorporating elements of the other four Vedas. The idea being that the dramatic or musical performance of sacred stories could draw individuals to holier thoughts. Panchopachara Puja Vinodini. In Lalita Sahasranamam, the Namavali is Pancha Sankhyopacharini. The 5 upacharas are Gandham, Pushpam, Dhupam, Deepam and Naivedyam. She is pleased when worshipped with these 5 upacharas. Panchami. Sutta Gita says, amongst Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra, Rudra is great. Greater than Rudra is that Maya Shabalita Ishvara. But Sadashiva, who is the 5th in the list, is the greatest of all. His Patni is known as Panchami. The second interpretation, Varahi is also called Panchami, as mentioned in Lalitopakhyanam. The name Varahi appears as the 5th in the list of Matas, starting with Brahmi, etc. She is the last Devata amongst the Pancharatna Devatas and Panchakosha Devatas. Kanchuka Bharana Rajni. This has several meanings. If we take armor as the meaning of the word Kanchuka, then we can say that the armor which she wears, because she is Rajni and the supreme ruler and defense is one of her duties. So that armor Kanchuka itself is her abharana. If we take the meaning upper garment for Kanchuka, then we can say that Sri Gurudasa, who saw that child as Bala Tripura Sundari, is probably describing her upper garment. But if we look more deeply, we get a different meaning. Kanchuka represents 5 factors of limitation that occur in the second stage during the unity of Shiva and Shakti. Their unity is initiated upon the cosmic process of creation. Human souls are subject to Mala, Maya and Karma. These souls are equipped with 5 derivatives from Maya that are called Kanchukas. The first is Kala Tattvam, that is our experiences of time and its successiveness. Then the Kala Tattvam, their limited capacity for agency. Third, Vidya Tattvam, a limited capacity for sensory perception and other intellectual acts. Fourth, Niyati Tattvam, the principle of causal regularity. Then Raga Tattvam, an interest in the object of experience. Kala, Vidya and Raga form a special inner group among the 5 Kanchukas, such that these 3 alone are sometimes referred to with the term Kanchuka. even where the existence of the other two is acknowledged. Abhinavagupta, in his Avatarika in Tantraloka, asserts that the Shiva Tanu Shastra too knows 6 Kanchukas, including Maya as the 6th Tattvam. The Kala and Niyati are purified in initiation when one purifies the other 3. The word Bharana refers to one who fills up, one who nourishes. She is called Rajni, the ruler of the universes. She takes care of the entire Characharam by nourishing them and protecting them. So, Kanchuka Bharana Rajni. She takes care of all the human souls and other Characharam by protecting them and nourishing them. So she is called Kanchuka Bharana Rajni. The next word in the song is Panchabanatmike. In Saundari Lahari, we have reference to Panchavishikaha, and they refer to Ashokam, Aravindam, Sutam, Navamallika and Nilotphalam. The banas, the arrows, are made up of flowers. In Lalita Sahasranamam, the Namavali is Pancha Tanmatra Sayaka. The 5 Tanmatras, namely Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, are supposed to be her arrows, when the bow is the Manas. There it is said that in Sthula Rupam, Devi is holding 5 arrows in her upper right hand. The Adhishtana Devata is Varahi, that is Dandanatha. The flowers are Kamalam, Kairavam, Raktakalharam, Raktayendivaram and Sahakaram. Their gunas are Harshanam, Rochanam, Mohanam, Shochanam and Maranam. Now the last word is Gurudasa Palini, the one who protects Gurudasa. So let us pray that Panchadashakshara Mantra Viharini, Panchami, Panchadashi, Nitya Shodashi, Panchakshara Shiva Manah Preranakari, Panchanana Vahini, Parama Dayakari, that Bala Tripur Sundari protect us all, always. Thank you.